Welcome back to the Hunt Studio. Today we're going to tackle the concept of how do I approach a completely empty page in a sketchbook. And today I'm using my sketchbook, I'm working on my 10th sketchbook. Oh my god, my 10th one. Alright, it's a completely empty page. We're not going to worry about the whole spread, just the page, man. Just the page. And with a few simple materials. And actually what we're going to do, we're actually going to be using a reference. This is the reference for today. This is actually a book I got from Walmart for like, I don't know, $10 maybe? But anyway, that's the reference for today. And I'm going to show you how to start. And really, this is the easiest way to start. There you go. It's kind of messy already, right? You just kind of get in there and it's not that big a deal. It really isn't. That's how you start, and that's it. That's that's how you start. And then what I do, if I'm feeling in a bit of a funk and don't really know what to do, this is how I approach it. And I'll just take this kneaded eraser and just kind of rub it on top, and not fully erase what I've done, because this is a sketchbook after all. It doesn't need to be perfect, but I need to be seeing the lines that I drew beforehand. So we're just gonna take that back a bit and then get back with our pencil or lead holder in my case and just kind of be really loose with it. This would be the next phase. Oh, and by the way, this is it's worthy to note that at any point in this stage, any point in this drawing, you can just stop. Like right there, I could have just stopped after I did my little squiggles and be like, all right, I made some art today, I guess, and then just stop. But today I'm going to keep going a little further than that. And I'm going to keep it, again, just loosey-goosey. This is going to be his head, I think. Right now I'm worried about just blocking in space. And I want to get that. The shape of the dragon here that I just showed. I want to get that pretty well done before I start adding in details. And it seems to just be a simple infinity sign, which is easy enough. Like that. We might even carry on to the next page, I don't know. Alright, so now that we have the shape, the initial shape, I'm just going to start giving it volume, I suppose. And then basically make it this piece the same width all the way through here until you get to about here maybe. And then you start to slowly taper it down into a tail. Yeah, so for now we're just going to keep it really loose the whole time, basically. Just keep it stupid loose. And then keep note that this part goes on top of this. So this goes underneath here. This here is all being covered up, so we're going to skip it. We're going to take this natural, I'm going to plant my hand here, and then just keep a natural like curve like this. So I'm going to put my finger here, and then swing it over here, and mark it. And do the same thing here. Here, and then do this natural right there. And that's going to be good enough. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then again here, here. This is over the top of this, so here, and here, here. Okay. And so now, like I said, at this point is where you want to taper it. Taper like so. What I like to do is, there's already this center line here. There's already this center line. And just make this piece back here kind of disappear underneath it. And look at that, it's tapered. Very simply. And this is actually going to have some like frillies, I think, on it. And keep note, again, I have a reference in front of me, but I'm not really following it to the T. I'm focusing on getting the predominant, like the idea, the concept down, but the art itself is mine, and then give him like hair and horns and such. Horns, maybe? Horns, and then hair. There's also a giant, I don't have any kind of straight edge on me, a giant mountain that we want. Do we want on there? Yeah, I suppose we do. Yoink. Something like that nature. And then it's also going like that. And then, of course, this is actually going over the top of this, so that's interesting. And then I also like to just kind of give it an idea of where all the shadows are going to be. Not completely flesh it out, of course, but give it some detail, just some minute detail. That doesn't look great, but we're running. Quickly fleshing things out. Quickly. We're not giving any kind of thought or much thought into design right now. We're just getting the location down. That's what's important right now. Getting the location so that later you can work with the design. I mean, you want it to look, look at it. So it's, shoot. This would be a good stopping point for somebody who doesn't really want to draw much, who wants to just kind of sketch a little bit. This is a good stopping point for somebody like that. I would recommend keep going. And here is how I would keep going. Again, I like to take my little kneaded eraser. Actually, there's a bunch of, we'll worry about that later. We're going to just take it and do the same thing we did last time with our little squiggles and just roll it on top and add some pressure to the eraser because adding pressure to it just causes it to pick up that, I guess, the top layer of graphite that's on there. I should also note that it's important not to use a pencil that's too dark, like a 2B, an HB, something like that would be good. I think mine's an HB or 2B. I think it's an HB. Anyway, something hard. The lead should be kind of hard, or in the middle at least, so it erases kind of easy. If you do something really bold, black and dark, it's not going to come up very easy. And you're going to be fighting with that the whole drawing, and that's not good. All right, so here's what I like to do, is I've used my 5.6 millimeter lead holder, and now I'm going to downgrade to my 2.0 millimeter lead holder. Now there's actually some lots of little clouds in here, so I suppose we can draw those in too. Just kind of, and again, there's some in the reference. I'm looking at the reference photo, but I'm not going to follow that exactly. I'm going to get to where, do what I think looks good. And I think I'm going in the wrong, like, I need to go more like this. I don't know. This is the point of the drawing where you can take your own liberty if you want to and just do whatever the heck it is you want to, because you have the groundwork laid, you have like the concrete is poured, the foundation is set, and now you can just kind of run with it. But if you don't really know what to do, I recommend just following the reference photo pretty closely until you get an idea of what it is that you want to do. Or until you get an idea of like how drawings typically work. And the thing about this phase of the drawing, this is where I give up most often in a drawing. If I don't like the direction that the details are headed, I'll quit. And that's why it would be okay to skip, to like just stop maybe at this phase. I really don't like this. I don't like this at all. So what we're going to do is do a hard reset. Okay. That's better, I suppose. And now what I think we have to do is give him spikes. Gotta give him like glowing crystals, you know what I mean? All down his back. We have we have 4 too few. Okay. How are we gonna do said tail? I don't know. Let's reference our buddy here, maybe. Something like that. Sure. Okay, so now I don't really want to go and do all of the scales, I'm gonna be honest. So we're gonna have a lot like simulated scales here. A few scales per row, I suppose. And okay, this is honestly getting to the point where like I'm tempted to stop here, and usually this is probably where I would stop, to be honest. Yeah, this is about where I would stop usually, but I would definitely come back to it. But today is not that day, so we're gonna actually move on to the final part, and we're going to ink this dragon. Now, what I usually do first and foremost, is do the outline of everything before I jump in and start doing like little hashing details. So that's what I'm going to do. My problem with this is I forget to speak. We're like an hour into the video and I forget completely to just say anything because I get so focused on what it is I'm doing. Alright, now before we break off into detail, I do want to get rid of a good amount of this sketch work just because we didn't use it. Now the parts that we want to poke out real good, we're going to outline again with this little bit thicker marker, I suppose. Again, this would be a good place to stop for somebody who is me. This has been an hour at this point, and yeah. Okay, there's probably going to be a bit of a gap between what you last saw and what you're seeing now, because I honestly, I forgot to start talking. I forgot to talk, and I'm sorry, but it is what it is. We're going to move on at this point. This actually could be considered a stopping point for, you know, I mean, it is a sketchbook. It doesn't have to be complete. And as you can see, I have various different pieces at various different finish points, but I'm going to go and just keep going because I want to. Yeah, that's about it. That's just a little bit further, not too much, but I want to put some, now that I've got the color blocked in, now that I've gone as far as I'm going to go in color, now I want to just add a little bit of of line work just to kind of finish it up. And I'm using the smallest pen that I'm going to be using. And so I'm just adding some small detail just to kind of finish it out. And it's really, as Bob Ross says, it's these small details is what sells the art. The art, if you were selling it, the smallest, the last little bit is what sells it. Now, granted, I'm not going to be selling this. Obviously, it's in a sketchbook, but it's these small little lines that add up to a lot. I'm going to call this done, I suppose. Yeah, I'm going to call it done. And that is going to be that. That's how you turn an empty page that looks a lot like this into something that's a bit less empty at the very least. Is it good? I don't know. That's subjective, I suppose. It's up to the viewer discretion. But the point is just to get beyond the fear or the anxiety or whatever it is that you feel about filling this page up. Because I promise after you've filled up 9 of these son of a guns and you're on your 10th one, it's not so big a deal. Just start. And a lot of mine, if you filter through the 10 sketchbooks, not every one of them are very good. Most of them are bad. And it gets to the point where eventually they start to look good, and not every one of them looks good. Like some of them look good, but not all of them. Most of them still look pretty bad. Yeah, and just the whole point in having a sketchbook is really just to have fun. I like to use mine as I copy references a lot. I just pretty directly copy references just to stay within my practice. And then whenever I want to do a bigger project, a paint project, I'll take a lot of different references and just kind of merge them together, and that's how I do it pretty much. So, yeah, that's going to be that. That's the end of this one, and I hope you enjoyed. Thank you. See you later. See ya.